So we're not going to go in, but if you were to go in here, you would go down the stairs and enter into first century, Second Temple period. This is one of the things that you would see. You would see this beautiful menorah inscribed, carved into limestone. And all of these houses are sort of built together in a neighborhood complex of priestly houses with the mikveh in them. So pretty much the same as the excavation, the UHL excavation, right?
Similar, yeah.
Similar. And similar to the priestly houses that we find in St. Peter and Gallicantu. These are the most well preserved because they excavated them after 67, and they did a lot of conservation. And there you see you see frescoes, you see all kinds of decoration that they used in the houses in that time. Plus you see lots of stone vessels that were the ritually clean vessels that we read about in John chapter 2. So you see really the culture of the priests, and it's very, very close to the temple. And so the next thing that I want to do, and the Herodian quarter is on the floor plan of it is on your sheets that we used in class. And there is one house that's really bigger than the others, several stories, like 3 stories, and it's just magnificent. So I highly recommend if you want to spend the extra money sometime and come here, but do take some time. Don't be rushing through it because there's lots to see, lots to read, and so forth. So this was one of the things that was excavated after 67, and then this modern apartment building was built over it.
But it is not considered as one of the Caiaphas' house.
Well, see, we don't know which house was Caiaphas. It began in the Byzantine period that they decided that the houses down there were Caiaphas' house, and then they actually sort of appointed the cisterns, one in particular, as quote unquote. It's not in scripture where Jesus was.
But I mean, scholars don't say these houses as.
Some scholars prefer this site over Gallicantu because, first of all, it's closer to the temple. It's just much closer. And for the priests, especially on Yom Kippur, it would have protected him from being defiled. The Gallicantu, if you walk from Gallicantu,
Where's Gallicantu?
it's just out Zion Gate and then across the road and down the hill. And so
the excavating place?
there are excavated places in Gallicantu and a church. And the church is built over some of these storerooms of a house. And then what they've done is they've created a pilgrimage site out of it.
I think
Is that a right way of saying it?
That they made a pilgrimage site out of it?
Mhm.
Yeah, and even that's modern. Like it's been.
Very modern.
I think one of the reasons why they attest that as the place of Caiaphas is because they found a dungeon at the bottom.
Well, that's that. Now, see, but that's not in Scripture. We don't read where Jesus was put in a dungeon.
But he was scourged, like he was like.
See, we're not. It's really unclear about that. About that cistern. About that being a dungeon.
It's not an A-rated.
Yeah, it's not an A-rated piece of antiquity. Definitely. Right. So, but because of the Byzantine period, because they insisted on these places, and they literally built buildings to create pilgrimage sites. Like if we look on the Byzantine map, you'll see that they have, like right here, you see this large building here? Okay, so this is Zion Gate today, okay? And the Cardo goes right through, and we were on part of the Cardo there. this massive structure right here was called the Nea Church. Now the Nea Church was a central pilgrimage site in Byzantine period, and it celebrated Mary, the Mother of God, and was very important. And this is like, if you look at the remains of it, it's like a super basilica.
Is it bigger than the Holy Sepulchre?
Yeah, much bigger. And it's right on the Cardo. So actually the Via Dolorosa in Byzantine time began at the Nea Church as a liturgy, you see, because what happened was they would be reading the liturgy, which is a Byzantine Orthodox liturgy, and then they would process out in a procession with robes and candles and music and singing the liturgy down the street until they came to the Holy Sepulchre. Okay?
So at that time, Byzantine period, the Via Dolorosa is basically from here to here.
Yeah, the Nea Church. Now there was the Garden of Gethsemane. Now that's something that we have to discuss. Where is mine? Okay, so over here we have Gachmanim, the oil press. Okay, so we know in the Gospels that Jesus was arrested in Gachmanim, in Gethsemane. Then he was taken across the Kidron Valley to the water gate. There was a gate here, right by the pool of Siloam. Let's make way for these people. So they came through the water gate, right down here at the pool of Siloam, and there are stairs. Now this is another possible reason why Gallicantu became the site, because very close to the pool of Siloam is a flight of stairs that goes up from the valley, and you can actually see the stairs begin down here, and then when you get up to Gallicantu, you actually see a flight of stairs that most likely went straight on down to the pool of Siloam. And the thought is that Jesus was led up those stairs to the house of Caiaphas. So that would be one of the X marks the spot points for Gallicantu to be the house of Caiaphas. Okay, if the house of Caiaphas was here, he would have been through the water gate and probably up the Tyropian Valley to stairs coming up to the upper city. Okay? Is that?
Which one? Where were you putting the?
I'm
House of
saying
Caiaphas?
if the house of Caiaphas is the Herodian quarter, this is the Herodian quarter, he would have come through the water gate and gone up the Tyropian Valley and then up the stairs to the house of Caiaphas. And then, if he were in the house of say house of Caiaphas is here, then he would have been led straight on across into the praetorium and the palace. So it would have been probably less noticeable, because there was a kind of element of stealth involved with the with Caiaphas, don't you think?
Yeah,
It's a possibility. This is another scholar's opinion.
I mean,
by
it's
the way.
right before the Passover, so really you got hundreds of thousands of people. It's
everywhere.
Can't be too stealthy, probably, no matter what you do.
Right. But at night,
yeah, it's at night.
you know, dragging this Jew from Galilee with soldiers of Caiaphas.
Right. They're actually not Roman soldiers. They're
The soldiers of Caiaphas.
yeah.
So, you know, that would have raised some eyebrows.
Yeah.
Okay, so
there, and then,
Big question.
And the records say that Jesus walked upstairs, or because both the places say like upstairs. Is there?
He would have had to go upstairs.
There's nowhere
Because
you
both-
can't walk anywhere in Jerusalem and not go
Right.
upstairs.
So the stair, it's either you have two options for stairs.
Yeah.
You have stairs in here. You can see the stairs, and you have stairs at Gali Kantu. Two different street. See, the stairs actually are streets.
Okay.
Where would
yeah,
Gali Kantu be on here?
Let's see. Let's see if they have it. It could be no.
You got this other set of stairs going off there.
Right. Amatamayim,
I think
Matzok. See, Dan Bahat
Let me see.
is probably not convinced about Gali Kantu, or he would have made something really to understand it. You know,
Second. Where's the Byzantine?
it should be. Let's see, the
There.
Matzok, or the cliff.
Yeah.
So
Should be outside of Zion Gate.
yeah,
So it would have to be somewhere around in there.
it's not this. It might be this. It might be this.
Second. Oh, there.
It might be this,
It would
Willie.
have to be right.
It might be that.
Yeah.
You're looking at the Byzantine
Yeah,
map.
there's. I was just looking where the Zion Gate is.
Yeah.
They are still trying to ascertain, still trying to find.
So it has to be
They
somewhere
don't-
right around in here.
Yeah.
So on the map will be around.
Maybe here, but maybe in here. Because see that he has this cliff that Josephus talks about that goes all along here
Oh.
that separated the upper city from the Tyropian Valley. Okay?
So what is two stairs? Is from
Oh, there were probably more than 2 flights of stairs. There probably we haven't
From the Siloam Pole?
yeah.
from the Tyropian Valley up to
Yeah,
the
there's
upper.
two. There's two sets of stairs. at
Two
least.
sets of stairs at least.
Is
But
it-
you know, you'd have to dig up all kinds of
one stair
residential.
is in there and
Yeah.
one stair in there. Herodian Kota.
He does not have any other staircases in his map. But he does make a point of the cliff. He
there's two
really
of 'em
emphasizes the cliff.
Here. There and there.
Yeah.
Ah.
Now, here's another case
Yeah.
in point for Herodian Quarter. You see this area right here? This is a bridge
Yes.
that goes from the upper city. Here's the 3 towers, you know, where Herod's palace is.
Yeah.
And then there's a wall that goes along here, and it goes right onto the Temple Mount. And it has an aqueduct that brings fresh spring water from south of Bethlehem. 68 kilometers long, brought fresh water to this bridge, and it went right on to the temple. Now, in terms of, and there was a little bridge for the Kohanim, for the priests, to cross this bridge and come straight on into the Temple Mount from the upper city. This is another plausible point for Caiaphas to be located here and not down here, because if you go to Gali Kantu and walk that, has anybody tried to walk from Gali Kantu up here? It's really down, 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 and you have to climb, and walk, and walk, and walk. The high priest, especially on the Day of Atonement or Yom Kippur, he was closely watched. He immersed himself several times. He didn't just, let's walk, and he couldn't break into a sweat, and on and on and on. There were all kinds of things to protect the high priest. So, in my opinion, coming from this quarter over to this bridge and across would be more Caiaphas' style than coming from Gali Kantu. Okay? So that's the debate, and you can make up your mind.
Gali Kantu is around this place, or
It would be
Yeah,
right about
it's-
here.
where?
Yeah, it's beyond the cliff, you see,
It's got to be down here.
Yeah.
Somewhere like right around in here.
and that's problematic when it's beyond the cliff.
Yeah.
Where is the Armenian church?
Armenian church would be
It's one of the Kayabas.
You mean
right.
St. James?
Oh, the
Yeah,
St.
we
James
saw-
one.
we saw the
mark.
one we
Okay,
yeah, on the line.
it's probably in this area here,
Oh.
somewhere like here.
Mm.
So it's in the upper city, you see.
So is the upper city the where like rich people live and
Rich people, but mainly Sadduceans, the priests, the Tzadokim. And they were the wealthy ones. They were the politically connected ones. The high priest was politically connected.
No. Zion Gate is. This is. You have to look at a different map altogether. There is no Zion Gate in this time period.
Alo, giờ itu anh nữa, giờ dài hụt.
Look in this
Part
map.
is the Herodian quarter on this map? Is it all of this area?
What?
Or
This area.
just here? Okay.
What are you showing?
The Herodian quarter.
Yeah. It's just a little. Too bad they don't have a map out here.
I
But
mean, this
it's
even
on your.
hasn't been actually even properly published.
No. Actually, Nachman Abigad, he did a book. But it's in Hebrew.
Well, even the dating is controversial. You have all these different layers,
Yeah.
and they never properly publish the pottery and stuff like this, so you can still have a variety of opinions about different features down there.
The
But they're
burn
saying it
was
is not
pretty
they're
clear.
arguing for.
The burning.